Hi, my name is Pato and today I'm finally posting this video after days rolling. I came here to teach you how to fight the scouts in the game Transformers Prime, which is made in Roblox. Yes, fight these things that were created by some soulless evil being. You can use everything against them, which still won't kill them. But the worst types are the ones who use Scout. But they keep finding themselves the whole game, but they won't have the courage to change classes. After certain changes to the Scout, I expected that they would totally nerf the class's destructive potential. But I was totally wrong. It got even worse. The frequency of use of the class became so great that Bombardier were left out. The amount of projectiles coming your way makes dodging almost impossible. At least one or two will hit you. Characters with high mobility are more likely to win a duel against scouts. I recommend playing with soldiers if you're sure the fights will be long, or with snipers if you're good at aiming. But there is a big factor. Ultra Magnus is fatal to use, because the character is too big and ends up being an easy target. You might be saying right now, wow, but you forgot the leader class. No, young man, I haven't forgotten. Leader is good against scouts, but it depends on your team. If you have a lot of allies against at least 3 scouts, then it's worth risking the leader, as the explosion sometimes pushes your enemy straight into the allies' mouths. But if you're alone against at least 2 scouts and you're sure your time won't do anything to cover you, forget it. You're just going to die. Always remember a detail: your weapons can also damage you. Avoid this happening as much as possible. Scouts only need the first opportunity to kill you. One strategy I used against them in this match in question was to play close to an energon cube. Because of the speed, I would be able to restore my HP easily. But there is also a factor: you need to play at the closest distance to one of them and avoid from throw your opponent over the area where life will spawn. Okay, you already talked a lot about the class itself, but what are the best weapons to fight scouts? Simple: missiles and grenade launchers. Weapons that have area damage are more likely to kill a scout than weapons that need precision. Lockdown, Viacons, Bludgeon, Wheeljack and Prowl have these characteristics. Even though Bludgeon and Wheeljack are discussed because of their low mobility, but in the tests they were very effective in a 1v1. Come on, I waited, but now I get to the action. What classes to play and how? Starting with the most in the background, the soldier. Abuse your missiles and play behind the scout. You have good mobility to accompany him. Just abuse. Chasing the scout if he is a runner player will be suicide. Usually they wait for the best opportunity to attack you in these vulnerable moments. By my game time, if you gain a good distance from a scout, he ends up running towards you and stops jumping. Use your strategies against them and use your rifle to deal maximum damage. Now the demolition. You have zero mobility. Always play from a distance, even if you don't want to admit it. If you want the scout to stop making your game hell, you need to make his life hell. And the absurd damage your grenade launchers have can do that. Stand in buildings and avoid face-to-face confrontations, but only advance if you know you will win the duels. Scouts have great difficulty killing you. Of course your HP saves you in these moments, but if a scout really knows how to play, he will be able to get around this and stay still for better shots. If that happens, you have to kill him before you die. Now it's the turn of the 2 weakest classes against the scouts. Bomber first, specifically Starscream and Windblade. On their heads is written "kills gratis." After switching weapons, these 2 characters have now become less usable. The damage itself doesn't help. If it didn't have the faster reload and the bugs that fire a missile alone were resolved, Starscream and Windblade could shine again. But it's impossible. Either player will kill you. Opposing Ironhide and Shockwave, despite having health comparable to a scout, both have more sustain in a match, which makes them more viable. Now it's the Heavy's turn. I didn't get a good recording of the Heavy, but the fight in question I participated in was not at all fun. Heavy are injured by scouts. Not only because most players play scout, but also because of low mobility. You are a giant pole that is easy to kill. Your machine gun won't hit them easily. You'll need a long time to destroy them all at once. For that you have to pray a lot. Scouts have the ability to double jump, and they abuse it. The Heavy's shotgun doesn't help him at all. In other words, don't play Heavy if the game you're in is too toxic. Now the medics. This class has one of the most complex mechanics in the game. If you know how to use his teleport, not even a sniper can kill you, but scouts can. Again, the double jump makes the shots inaccurate, and if you're facing too many of them, well, you die. Medics can kill a lot of people, but they can't compete with their arch-enemy, the scout. If you're playing with a friend, ask him to play demolition, then you heal him and he attacks, the part awaited by many. The snipers. My bro, I only suffered in matches, but the amount of headshot I put on a scout made him freak out. Simply Yuri confuses anyone. He thinks he's going to kill you in Zoom. You climbed on top of a building and killed him. In my honest opinion, snipers are one of the biggest counters to scouts, but I think if everyone understands the sniper's new abilities, then the game will be full of them. If this video gets to mark, please, nerf the grappling hook to at least 10 seconds of cooldown, as facing a guy who is playing hardcore is boring. You can combo the 2 shots of the auto pistol and then one of the rifle, which insta-kills the scout. If you are against more than one of them, avoid approaching and abuse Yuri. Lastly, the pyro, a walking potato. That's how I would sum it up. After his flamethrower lost all of its past power, the pyro became a non-viable choice against scouts. At most his grenade launcher can do anything, but only if it has an acceptable damage streak on his opponent. Thanks for watching this freak show so far. It's my first video and I don't know how to edit very well, but I'm evolving over time. These videos won't be frequent, but I'll try to post them when I have time. If you have any suggestions, just write them in the comments. I'll be reading them all. A big hug and until the next night.